you very much.
Thank you. I am not a public speaker in any way, shape or form, so please bear with me. I'm here honestly to give you my feedback on my journey through my career and what I've learned along the way, and then how that relates to some of the mentors I've had and some of the research that I've done on how to improve yourself and how to be the best you can be. So this is just my experience. I'm not saying this is right. It's worked for me, and there are some principles here which I think can apply to all of us, because they apply to our beliefs and our values. The first thing I will say is this church is blessed. You feel the presence of the Lord when you walk in here, and that is an amazing experience. My spine tingled when I walked in, and that's how I know. So you have a very, very blessed family here in this church. I have a few slides, so hopefully the technology will work. So in terms of my journey, just to explain where I've come from a career point of view, I was born in the UK, in the Wirral, so in Liverpool, and then I moved to North Wales, where I was brought up. Went to a local comprehensive school, so I went to a state school, got my O-levels or GCSEs, I got my A-levels, and then I went to university in the UK to study construction engineering management. I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, so when I was trying to pick my options and pick a university, I was looking at medicine, I was looking at quantity surveying, and a friend of mine who was sat next to me said, I quite fancy construction, and I thought, that sounds good, and that was it. So there wasn't a clear plan and a focus at that time in my life, but I was obviously guided down a certain path, and that is the career I ended up in. So very quickly, I started off in the UK as a site engineer. I then went in 1998 to assistant project manager 2001. This is all in the UK. Project executive, project director. So I came to Dubai in 2008, just when we were going into a crisis in Dubai. So that was a fascinating lesson on leadership, how people react when they're under pressure. And that is a real sign of people's true values when they're really under pressure, and how they react to that and how they deal with that. So I carried on through to Oman. Then I went to Canada and general manager of Al Nabuda, followed by operations director of Mace. To be continued. I'm halfway through. I'm 45 years old, so this is part of the journey, but the journey will carry on. So straight into what I believe have helped me to progress my career. Positive attitude. Attitude is so important. Now, if I said to you, what does a positive attitude look like? I mean, what would you say a positive attitude looks like? Is it the way you present yourself? Is it the way what you say? Is it the mannerisms? This is a positive attitude. Ugo has an absolutely amazing attitude. Now, I was when I was general manager of Al Nabuda, I obviously met Ugo, and his attitude really shone brightly. Now, that is the first ingredient. As a manager, somebody that is recruiting and looking to fill a position and looking to promote people, the first thing I look at is the attitude. Because with the right attitude, you can teach people how to do something technically, how to lead a team, but attitude is the foundation of everything. So Ugo is a wonderful example of that. Toby, where's Toby? Toby is, again, Toby at the back there. Toby, another example of a wonderful attitude. Now, there is a coincidence here. You're in the same family. You're in the church, and the church is an amazing foundation. Everything I cover today is actually in the scriptures. It is, there are Bible verses that support what I'm saying. So it's not, but the church is a wonderful foundation to move your career forward and to follow God's plan for you. Another example is I went to Toyota. I took my car for a service and I pulled into Alpha Tame, and I was greeted by a young gentleman called Simon Ugo. Now, again, I'd never met Simon before. He hadn't worked for me or with me, but again, his attitude from when I got out of the vehicle and I met Simon, his attitude shone, and it really, really stood out. Now, I believe Simon is part of your family as well. So attitude is so important. The fastest way to get promoted is to display a positive attitude, and we can all do this in the way that we conduct ourselves by being positive. Life isn't always easy, but you need to dust yourself down when you face a challenge and keep positive, keep your head up, keep a smile on your face, and really keep a positive attitude. Your attitude, not your aptitude, determines your altitude. And I really, truly do believe this, and it has helped me in my career. And I'm not perfect at this. There are times when I get frustrated. There are times when my attitude doesn't align with where I know it should be. So this is a continuous process. I'm learning every day in what I do. But certainly for me, attitude is everything. Your words matter. Your body language matters. The way you present yourself, if your head is down and you're looking at the floor, you feel low, you feel negative. So head up, smile on your face, be positive. It makes you feel better. It makes other people feel better. And that's what I mean by attitude. So attitude, so important. And I can't stress that one enough. Follow your passion. God has a plan for you. Your skills were aligned with God's plan for you. It is so important that you do what you're really, really passionate about. So do not chase the salary, is my advice. My advice is whatever your passion is, whatever you are naturally good at, that is, you listen to God, pray for guidance, but your passion is what you will excel at in your career, because you enjoy what you're good at. You're motivated by what you're good at, and you are the only person on earth who can use your ability. So where is your passion? We're all unique. Every one of us is unique, and we all have a passion and a quality that allows you to excel. Oprah Winfrey, you've got to follow your passion. You've got to figure out what it is you love, who you really are, and have the courage to do that. I believe that the only courage anybody ever needs is the courage to follow your own dreams. Now, this is what I've tried to follow as well. I've tried to really focus on what I enjoy, what I'm good at, my strengths. So certainly follow your passion as opposed to trying to follow what you think will deliver the salary or the position that you feel that you need to be in. Third one, clarity of focus. So if I said to you, just as an example, if I said that there is a destination for you, and that is somewhere you need to drive to. So let's say, for example, that destination is Abu Dhabi, the airport in Abu Dhabi. Now, if I said, go into your car, you've got to get to your destination as efficiently as you can, but if you didn't know where you were going, if you didn't know that you had to get to Abu Dhabi and the airport at Abu Dhabi, you'd get in your car, you may go the wrong way, you may end up in Sharjah, you may head towards Abu Dhabi, but you may not find the airport. Your life, your career is very, very similar in that clarity of focus on where you want to be, where that destination is for you is really, really important so that you can work up a plan to get there as efficiently as possible. You can't hit a target if you don't know what it is. Focus on where you want to go, not on what you fear. Again, there are a number of quotations I've got in here. There are some very inspirational, motivational speakers, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar. They all say the same thing. It's the same message that comes out of it. So the clarity of the focus, and then really leveraging the power that you have within you in terms of your subconscious mind, in that the conscious part of your mind, the decisions you make is a small part of your capacity and your ability. So if you're focused on where you're going, it is amazing how you get there. And I've seen examples of that in my career. When I was 28, there were 5 of us in the company, and we were all in project management positions running projects in the UK. And the director said, you know, what are your ambitions? Now, there was one person in that room of the 5 of us that said, in 6 years' time, I will be the regional director of this company. Now, he wasn't the most talented. He wasn't the most intelligent, but he had that focus. And we looked at each other, and I didn't have that clarity at that time on where my career was going. But almost to the month, Peter became the regional director of Bovis Lendlease, or Lendlease in the UK. Almost to the month. 6 years later, he was in that position. And that was a real example for me of that clarity of where he was focused on and where he wanted to get to, and how subconsciously and consciously he saw the opportunities that came his way that took him along that path, and he got there. There's many other talented people that are very, very talented at what they do, but they wander along from a career point of view, trying to find what they enjoy. So that's why I'm saying really focus on what you're passionate about, with a positive attitude, because then you will shine. And it's not easy, but try and define where you're going and where you want to be so you can work up a plan to get there. Next quality, go the extra mile. There are no traffic jams on the extra mile. Very, very few people do more than they're paid to do, or try and do more than the job description says. So be hungry, be eager to learn. Every position you're in is an opportunity to learn something, to demonstrate to the superiors in that organization on your appetite, your passion, your ability. So be hungry to learn, really eager to do more. The harder you work, the quicker you learn. There isn't a quick fix here in terms of you're just given positions. There is a lot of competition for that next position. There are a lot of very talented people who want to move their careers forward. So the advice is, be really hungry, be really passionate about working hard and continuing to learn about the role and the next role above it. So going the extra mile does get you noticed. Ugo goes the extra mile. Toby goes the extra mile. It was very, very obvious to me in my position as the general manager of the Al Nabuda building division, which is why Ugo was promoted, received his own project, because he had the right attitude and he really went the extra mile. So it does get you noticed. Success is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. So work hard at what you do. Do the best you can at what you do. That is my advice in terms of going the extra mile. There are 24 hours in a day. We all have 24 hours in a day. Whoever you are, whatever your background is, rich, poor, everybody has the same amount of time during the day, so make the most of your time. When you get home, do some research on the area that you're passionate about. Continue to learn, and I'll come onto this now. Here's a quote from Jim Rohn: "Days are expensive. When you spend one day, you have one less day. So make sure you make the most of every day you have, and do more than the person that is also looking to get promoted and to get that position." Hard work is very important with the right attitude. Okay. One of the questions I get asked quite often is, what qualifications do I need to get? What course can I go on to get another membership or some more letters after my name? And what do I need to do to get promoted in terms of qualifications? The best way to get promoted, as I say, is to demonstrate your potential, work hard, really shine with a positive attitude, and learn through the experience of the project. There are many, many people that I've employed who have got degrees, and some of them have got multiple degrees, but when it comes to actually working with people, leading people, the degree doesn't mean you are naturally good at what you do. You can't learn everything in an academic institution. But what I would say is that there is a huge amount of information out there which can really help you develop any skill that you want to develop or that you are looking to develop to help you realize your potential. So read all the books, do the research. There are books, there is internet resource, there are quotations, there are so many things out there that you can research on the web, that you can research for free, that you can download, that can help you be the best you can be in that particular area. And learning for me is a continuous thing. The day that you stop learning and you say, this is it, I know it's all now, is the day you start to slide backwards and somebody else will overtake you. So continuous and never-ending improvement. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every single day. Half an hour a day, just researching a subject that you're keen to learn about is 3-4 hours a week, is 12 hours a month. That is a lot of education, and it's just those little things that make a difference over a long time. So sharpen the saw, sharpen the saw. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. Now, what does that mean? That basically means that you want to make sure that you are educated to the best of your ability in that particular area, if you're looking to chop down the tree, you do your research on how to chop down the tree efficiently, as opposed to just hitting it for the 6 hours. So it is, that's a quotation from Abraham Lincoln. There are quotations from so many people. These are just some quotations which were pulled off the internet. So it is, again, I can't stress this enough. Just keep learning and trying to hone your skills, and keep eager to learn something new. Build your network. Relationships are really, really important. And I've worked around the world. I've met people on construction sites in Canada that I worked with in Oman, in the UK, in the UAE. I've worked with people in construction that then move into the client side, or work for other contractors, or work for subcontractors. So your relationships are so important to you. Nurture your relationships. Respect people. Respect everybody. So I've said, treat everyone you meet with respect on your journey. When I started out in my career, I was an assistant project manager on a construction site in the UK, and there were certain directors of subcontractors that spoke down to me or didn't listen to what I was saying because I wasn't the project director. But you remember how you're treated by people. Several years later, I'm in the project director position, and the same people, they didn't remember how they spoke to people or spoke to me at that time. But of course, when you get to that position, everybody wants to be your friend. You remember, and this is another one which I feel is so important. Treat everybody you meet with the utmost respect. Do not respect just a title or a position, or respect the person. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all human beings. We're all put on this planet by the Lord, and everybody is special. So that is an important one. Ask intelligent questions. There are some amazingly talented people in your family here. There's a number of young people that are starting their career, and you've got some experienced people that are further along in their career. There's two ways you can learn. You can learn through trial and error, and you can do your research, as I've said, or you can sit with somebody. For example, Toby and Ugo spend a lot of time together. So a mentor, sitting with somebody that's been through the experience, that has learned the lessons on that particular role or that next position, listening to them, getting their feedback is so important. So again, ask intelligent questions. If you want somebody to know how to do something, ask somebody that's mastered it, that's somebody that's done it. And you've got a wonderful family here and outside of here that, and generally when people say to you, how do I do this? Can you give me some advice on this? Can you tell me how to do that? 95% of the time, people really enjoy giving people feedback. So ask those questions. So again, a couple of quotations here. There's two on the left-hand side. You become who you spend your time with. We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. 2 different people, Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn. Your network, your church, your family, the people that you spend the most time with have such an influence on you. So this is another wonderful thing about the church and the family you've got here, in that you are surrounded by, and you are spending your time with like-minded, wonderful, caring Christians. And that helps you develop as well. And you see this in society. You see people that fall into the wrong group. You see it in schools where people fall into the wrong group, and it does impact their attitude, their motivation, their behavior. So that is, again, another one. The final one is giving and helping people and supporting people and giving as much as you can. So it's not about taking. The value of giving is, one, it naturally makes you feel good when you help somebody. Two, as I said to you at the beginning, people remember. So that person that you've helped, the person you've supported, the person that you gave something to, they will remember. And it nurtures a good heart, and it certainly is very, very rewarding as well. So give as much as you can. It's not about what can I take, it is about what can I learn, what can I give, because that is one of the best ways to actually move your career forward, because people end up in all sorts of positions, and they remember, and they will recruit the people that they really feel will support them and who care and will look after the people around them. So I have a few more. Believe in yourself. This is very, very important. We all have that voice in our head, that voice of self-doubt, that voice that says, you're not good enough, you can't achieve this, you're not going to get there, somebody else will do that. Every one of us has unique and exceptional talents. Every one of us barely touches the potential that we have. God has a plan for you. He's there with you. So trust him, let him lead you, but don't let that voice in your head knock you down. Every one of you is unique, amazing, and the potential you have really, really important for me, not letting the self-doubt, which we all feel, we all have questions, we all question ourselves about, is this right? Am I good enough? I've sat in meetings, in presentations, where I've thought, is it just me that's in the room here that doesn't understand what's going on? In construction, there's a lot of technical related subjects. You're not expected to know everything, and there are many other people in the room that feel the same way. But it's that voice in your head which is normal, and to a degree it is healthy, because it is the voice that says, do not walk in front of that car, or do not do this. But when it comes to your career and that self-belief, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because, so there's a quote here from Henry Ford: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So it is, you will progress, and I've seen this with some very, very talented people that I thought would go an awful long way in their career, and many of them didn't achieve their potential because they didn't believe they could. So there is self-belief and having that confidence in yourself. There is a but, which I'm going to come on to shortly, but there's a quote from Bruce Lee: life's battles don't always go to the stronger or the faster man, but sooner or later the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. If you believe you can do it, then with the potential you have, it is amazing how that belief translates into results. There is a but in terms of believing in yourself. Word of caution: stay humble. Humility is, and again, as I said when I started this, what I'm working through here is in the scriptures. There are Bible verses about humility and the importance of being humble. So be confident but not arrogant. Project director before he left. And I sat with him and I said, Vic, tell me about you and this project. His opening line was, I am the best project director in the world. Now, I thought he was joking. So I said, seriously? Yes. And then I realized that he actually believed he was the best project director in the world. And that's, so the drive that kept him moving forward in his career then turned into arrogance, in that he got to a point where he thought, I'm so good, I'm the best. And then his standards slipped, his attitude changed, in that, and it reflected on the team, it reflected on the project. So that said everything for me, that it is very, very important that you have the self-belief, but you have the right attitude, and you stay humble. And again, the Bible is very, very clear on humility as well. Okay, I'm nearly finished. There's 2 more slides. But as I say, this is just my experience of what I've learned, and I'm halfway through my career. Don't give up. There are good days and there are bad days. There are days when everything just feels out of control and it feels like it's going wrong. There are weeks and there are months like that as well. It is normal. Every one of us goes through that. One of the things that's fascinated me is how life, career, the economy follows the seasons. In that there will be a winter in your career, in your life, but there is always a spring, there is always a summer, and yes, there will be an autumn. But it is very important that you do not give up, because it will pass. A couple of quotations that no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you're still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying. Now, this is probably one of the biggest reasons why people fail to achieve their potential, because they give up. Something goes wrong, they make a mistake, they get criticized, and they give up. Mistakes are a wonderful learning experience. When you started to ride a bike, I guarantee every one of you fell off that bike. What did you do? Did you say, well, I'm not going to go on that bike again? No. You got back on, and then you fell off. You got back on, you got a bit further, and then you fell off. But then you get to the point where you're cycling. And that is a good analogy for why failure helps you learn how to do something properly and well. You cannot. There isn't a quick fix. You can't just get on a bike and ride. You can get advice. You can get feedback. You can do the research. All the things I've said, but you have to learn through experience as well. So all of the other stuff is important, but do not give up. You will face challenges. We all do. It is normal, but embrace it. Don't let it knock you down. Again, just Colonel Saunders. His fried chicken recipe was rejected 1,009 times before one restaurant said, yes, that looks like a good recipe, we'll try this. Now, how many of you would keep going after 1,008 rejections? I wouldn't. Yeah, if I had 5 people come back to me and say, no, that isn't right, that isn't going to work, this is, we're not interested, most people would give up. 1,009 times before somebody said, okay, we'll give this a go. There are numerous examples of this, and successful people keep going. There are many millionaires that lose everything, lose all the money, they're broke, but they start again, they keep going. So success is not about the smooth path. There are challenges all the way along the way, there are failures, but failure is really, really important in that it helps you get there efficiently and effectively. So if you do some research on people that have failed, here's another good example for you. Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 25 times I've been trusted to take the winning shot and I've missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Now, Michael Jordan was not good enough to get into the school basketball team, but he believed in himself, and he worked harder than anybody else in that. If you research Michael Jordan, the amount of practicing that he did, the number of times he got back on that bike to get better and better and better, he worked harder than the talented people who were naturally maybe more talented. Look at what he achieved. So there are so many examples of this, and it is fascinating when you start to study it. Thomas Edison, 10,000 failures before the light bulb was made. So so many examples. Honda, another one. Positive attitude, keep going, embrace failure, learn from the mistakes, because if it's the same mistake you keep making, then you've got to make a change and keep learning how to ride that bike. So you learn from every failure to get better, but keep your head up and do not give up. We all go through it. So sorry, there was one more there. Failure is an event. It is not you. Again, very, very important. It's just because something has happened to you or somebody has done something to you, do not take that as you have failed. It could be that the organization you're in isn't aligned with your values and you. It doesn't mean you have failed. It could be something that you just can't control. But treat failure as an event and embrace it and ask, what can I learn from this? I've learned far, far more in my career from the mistakes I made, and I have made many. And there are times when I've thought, oh no, how do I get over this one? But the learning experience has been phenomenal. So I put a lot of my success down to feeling the fear but going for it, and when something goes wrong, because inevitably there will be times when it doesn't go to plan, you don't give up. You learn from it, and you sit down and ask yourself what you can learn from this, so next time you can avoid that particular thing. And I said it to Hugo, make decisions. A decision, 95% of the decisions you make will be positive decisions that move things forward. So in construction, we're making decisions on a daily basis. And sometimes that voice in your head, Hugo, I'm sure you've had it, you're thinking, can I actually make this decision? Should I make this decision? What happens if this decision is wrong? But 95 or 99 times out of 100, you've taken one step forward with every positive decision and maybe one step back with a bad one. So out of 100 decisions, you've gone forward 99 steps. So again, all links in. Feel you will have that voice in your head saying, you can't do this. Put it to one side. Go for it. If you fall over, if you fail, embrace it. Learn from it. It is a wonderful learning experience. Do not let your head go down. Do not give up. Okay. This is the final slide. And really this ties in with everything which I've gone through. Nurture your faith. Your faith is a wonderful gift and blessing, and God has a plan for you. The scriptures say that. It is very, very clear in the Bible. You were brought onto this planet for a reason, because you are the son or the daughter of our beloved Lord. So your faith is, as a foundation, is absolutely essential to succeed. Because without that, it is very, very difficult to get through some of the challenges that the carnal world, that this world throws at all of us. So you will be challenged. As a Christian, you will face challenges. But you have to understand you are already victorious. So regardless of the challenges that are thrown at you, the darts that are fired at you by the enemy, with the Lord by your side, with Jesus by your side, you cannot be defeated because you're already victorious. So remember that when you're facing that challenge. Pray for guidance and support. I cannot tell you how many times in my career I have sat on the toilet to pray for help and guidance before a major meeting or a presentation, or, there are times when I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Or how do I get around this? Every single time I've asked for that support, that guidance, that confidence, I have received it. Every single time. So, cast your fears onto the Lord. Believe and receive. This is what faith is all about. It is to receive, you have to trust and let go. And it's not easy, because we feel in control if we're taking actions ourselves. But cast all your worries on him, because he cares for you. The first time I went to church was in Dubai, and I wasn't planning to go to church. It was a series of events, and I said, okay, I'll come along. The church was a Filipino church, so I was the only non-Filipino in the church. I didn't understand half of the service. It was very passionate. It was great coming in here today because of the energy, the passion, the joy. In the UK, a lot of it is, you don't get that. And it is so important to rejoice and celebrate the Lord, our brothers and sisters, and our faith. So praying for guidance is very important, and quite often in a challenging situation, I've felt the presence of Jesus by my side, and it is so reassuring and comforting. And it is, as I say, faith. With faith, you can achieve anything because you're already victorious. So that's it. With Jesus by your side, you can achieve absolutely anything. Believe to receive. For with God, nothing shall be impossible. Believe. And as I said, the scriptures and the verses of the scriptures really tie in with everything I've said. As I said, read all the books. The one book that gives you guidance as a handbook for life is the Bible. And again, that was quite a revelation for me when I read through the New Testament, Proverbs, again in the Old Testament. There are, as a handbook and as an instruction on how to live your life and how to be, it is phenomenal. So all of the self-help gurus that I've referenced here, the Jim Rohns, the Tony Robbins, the Zig Ziglars, there is some great material that they produce, but it is amazing how it knits into the success principles, knit back into the scriptures. So that is the first book. That is as the best self-help guide and support for advice. The Bible is, and it stood the test of time. It'll never ever be surpassed, and that is my advice. So your faith is something you should be. It is so precious, as is this family that you have here, and with that you cannot be defeated, regardless of the challenges you will face through your career. So really nurture that faith and nurture the family you've got. Thank you. That is. Are there any? I'm happy to answer any questions, or I'm happy to obviously speak to anybody if there's anything I can give some feedback on. As I say, please, I can give you feedback based on my experience. I'm not saying everything is right. I am learning every single day. But if there are any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. But it has been an absolute pleasure to meet you all. And Ugo, thank you. As I say, the reason why I'm here is because of this man on my left-hand side. The respect I have for this man is can't really be explained. I have huge respect for this man, and that comes back to his attitude, his work ethic, all underpinned by his faith, because it shines out with Ugo, with Toby, with Simon, with you all. So you are very, very blessed. Thank you.
We're so also awesome. The meeting has been very awesome. I believe that it's time for you to loosen yourself. There might be one or two questions you want to ask. This is the journey of his own life. This is his own perspective. There might be one or two things you want to ask for clarification so that you can better understand and be able to marshal your own life, the journey that you have embarked on to succeed. Is there one or two questions that you want to ask? One or two questions? Yes, my brother. Yes, my sister. Two of you, can you please come forward?
My name is Abi. Okay. Pastor, thank you once more for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir, for coming. I enjoy your career. One more question that I just want to ask is, I believe we are here in Dubai, and sometimes we come with a vision. We come with a vision and a particular focus that we want to pursue, and we find ourselves doing something different from what we have as a dream to pursue. So I want to ask you, like for myself, my dream was shifted because I found myself in this country. So how can I do, what can I do in order to follow my dream? To shift back. Thank you.
Simon.
I found a career as well. I've entered a position and I've thought, where am I? How have I ended up here? Why am I here? It does come back to God has a plan for you. The road isn't always straight. And again, I did quite a bit of research on this, research on how do I find my plan? How do I find what God's plan is for me? Because I'm in a place where surely God doesn't want me here. Quite often in my career, it made sense when I look back. Now that's all I can say, because it's not necessarily about the position you're in, but maybe it's about the family you're with. Maybe it is about the brothers and sisters that you meet, which are a foundation for God's plan in the future, in that this is not a straight road, and I've learned that much. But when I look back at my career, when I look back at the time, I've asked questions, but when I've looked back, it made sense. That's why I was in Dubai. That's why I was in that position, because I met so-and-so. And so-and-so now has given me this opportunity here. So don't be disheartened. It is part of the journey. There is a reason for, God has a plan for you. So keep asking for that feedback and asking for the one thing that I didn't elaborate on, but that first day at church, the thing that really hit me was this overwhelming feeling of I am good enough and I am loved by the Lord. And you are loved and you are unique. So there is let God guide you and support you and reveal his plan to you. But there is, when you look back, there are reasons why. That's my experience anyway, in that it isn't always the straight line. This is why you need to let go and let him lead, because if we leave it to ourselves, we end up in all sorts of places. So that would be my advice. Do not be disheartened, and just, as I say, embrace the opportunity around you and keep that faith and keep asking the questions. But the message I received and the message I'll pass on to you is you are loved and God has a plan for you. Okay.
My brother, Mr. Simon, just one or two things I'd like to add. Now, if you go on in your life and you are influenced with this idea that you have not fulfilled what you set out to do, and if that's what drives you all your life, you may never succeed. You may set out, as he said, it was just a young man who made him to go, when he went to the university, he actually didn't have a clear picture of what he wanted to study, right? It was a young man who said, what about construction management? They had the option of reading medicine, architecture, whatever. But as he sat in and learned about management, he made up his mind to succeed in it. And here today, he's a success. So even if you find yourself not doing what you had set out to do, there are certain things that can make you succeed in doing the thing you currently are engaged in. But if you live under the notion that, yes, I didn't get what to do, and then you keep sulking, you keep, telling everybody, I didn't get what I want, that's why I'm a failure, then you would continue to be a failure. So put yourself together. Wherever you meet yourself, whatever you're doing, be determined to be a success in it. And then you will grow up to be a success. That's what I think. Praise the Lord. I'm sure when the young man got up, you thought he was a female. Yes, he's a man.
I was actually looking for the third female person, but I never saw anyone. Anyway. My name is Daniel. I have two questions, but the first one is the one he asked. Because back home, before I came to Dubai, I was a radio and TV presenter. That was my dream, coming to Dubai, to be the same radio and TV presenter. But when I came here, the whole story changed. I found myself in the kitchen as a chef. I have never worked as a chef in my life. But I came here, I'm working in the kitchen. I cook. I know how to cook before back home, quite all right, but I never wanted to, I never wanted that. But it came, and that's what I'm doing up till now. So my question is on attitude. Because presently, I'm the only African in my shop, in the kitchen as a chef. I found out that, especially this, pardon me please, if any one of them is here or you have any friend like that, pardon me. I found that they think they know too much, but even a child, seeing what they're doing, the child can tell you, this thing you're doing is very wrong. This one is wrong. And I noticed that majority of them are not educated. They're not graduates. They only know the basics of kitchen, but the educational aspect of it, they don't know. So sometimes when I try to tell them, I think if we do this way, it's going to work better for us. They kind of like, this attitude. He thinks he knows too much, or because he's a graduate. And so, well, it came to a stage, I said, okay, fine. If this is how you guys want it, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And when I keep quiet, I see that everything comes in a negative way it was. And when the head chefs, they come in, they give every one of us bamboos. And it really hurts me. No, really, if you work in the kitchen, you understand what I'm talking about. It hurts me. So when the people go, they start complaining. I will tell them, why are you complaining? When I told you this thing, let's do it this way, you told me no. Then they start laughing, after all, your idea was okay. I said, so why were you arguing in the first place? So I decided to keep quiet. So, please, sir, tell me, should I continue keeping quiet or I should continue talking? That's it. That's my question, sir. Should I continue keeping quiet or I should, because I realized that me keeping quiet, so many things are falling apart. And things they can do, the head chef, they end up pushing me there. Daniel, do this one. Daniel, do this one. And I have other chefs there. So I don't know, although I do them, but should I keep speaking or I should keep quiet? Because I'm not the head chef. I'm just a junior chef. We have 2 supervisors there. but they seem to me like they've gone nuts or something, I don't know. So in that case, what do you do? Because it's really gotten to me here, really. I'm tired of the whole situation. I have 3 staff who have resigned because of this. From my kitchen, 3 resigned. And I'm thinking towards the direction, but something is telling me, if you go, this kitchen is going to close. So please tell me, what do you think I should do in this situation?
Okay, I mean, from my perspective, this comes back to what I said about the attitude and respecting people. And sometimes I believe that we're put into situations just to develop those qualities and those skills and to practice them. And you clearly have them, and you've said that you are helping them, you're trying to support them, you're trying to advise them. Keep doing that. Be the best that you can be in the role you're in. It does get noticed, and you don't always realize that it gets noticed, but trust me, there are people that see what's going on and see those qualities because they do shine through. And the frustration is normal. And I've heard this, I've seen it, I felt a lot of frustration where I've thought, well, this is unfair. You know, I'm doing all of this work. This person above me is taking my work and taking all of the credits. They're getting the recognition for what I'm doing. And looking back on my career, I realized that was a good lesson for me in 2 ways. One, it was a wonderful experience because I was learning a lot. But 2, it was also a lesson on those skills of attitude and respecting people as opposed to getting bitter about it. So it's not easy. It is not easy because it's that voice in your head saying this is not fair and this is not right. But this is, again, where I would fall back into your faith in that they're your brothers and sisters, and the attitude is so important, and it does shine through. That's the one message I would give you, is that people do notice and will be noticing you. You don't feel as if they are, but it does shine through. And you only realize that later on when you see how things have moved forward. So my advice would be head up, shoulders back, smile on your face, support the team, try and be that really positive person in the team and guide them, help them, respect them, and help them, because they are your brothers and sisters as well. And the other thing for me is you have a wonderful faith. You may be in that position to help people in that way, in that they look at you and they see you and you're different because you've got such a strong Christian faith, and that shines out. And then people start. I ended up going a personal assistant, and she was very, very passionate about her faith, and it shone through. It shone through in the way she presented herself, in what she said, and it made me curious because I had the position, I had the salary, I had the title, but my life felt empty in a lot of areas. Karen didn't have any of that, but she was so full of joy and happiness, and that radiated out and it is Karen that is the reason why I went to church. Now maybe that was, I don't believe that was a coincidence that I was sharing an office with Karen, and that I believe it was God's plan, that Karen was the guide that brought me to Jesus. So we don't know the reason for things, and as I said before, when you try and consciously work it out, it can be very, very frustrating. But be the best you can be, and go in there and be as positive as you can. Put your frustrations to one side, really focus on your faith and say, Lord, how can I serve you and be a really positive example as a Christian to those around me? Because there is a reason why you're there. I get the frustration, and but I do believe that there is a purpose for everything, and it may be that that's what it is. It's part of God's calling to help these people, and you will you'll move forward. But that's just my opinion. That attitude and you're a wonderful character. You're an inspirational person. So go in there and really be that positive, inspirational guy in the kitchen that supports everyone, because it is noticed. Okay.
Yeah. Daniel, you set out to be a radio presenter, and that's your dream. And then you came to Dubai and found yourself in the kitchen, and you're making a success of that. So you're a success. That's an example of a success. Back home, he merely learned to cook, maybe for 1 or 2 people. But here in Dubai, he's cooking for several people. So he's a success already. And as he said, keep believing in yourself. And one thing he says, as you believe in yourself, be humble. Remember the example he gave about the man he met in Oman, the project director who said he was the best project director in the world. And yet his project was several months behind. And yet he still believed he was the best, because he felt proud, I'm sure, and all of that. And that impacted on the people around him. So even if you have reasons to check, to correct, be humble with your correction. Be humble and positive. It may not become clear at the moment, but sometime in their lives, when they look back, they will discover that someone had impacted their life positively. And I'm sure that somehow down the line, you might reap your positive attitude. And the fact that you keep believing in yourself, keep doing that. And I'm sure you will continue to succeed. One day, we'll see you behind the radio again. My brothers and sisters, I wish we can continue on and on. And every third Friday, the Success Seminar would continue to feature. And we'll bring different people who have succeeded to tell their story. And we hope that as they tell their story, you also will come alive. If they can succeed with some of the principles they've shared with us, then you can succeed. And above all, as he concluded, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. All things are possible. All things, help me tap your neighbor and say, neighbor. Remember? All things are possible. You can be the best that ever exists. It's possible. I am so fascinated with Michael Jordan's testimony. He said, I have missed 90,000 shots. And I have failed to take my team 25 times to the winning point. But yet, I'm a success. Michael Jordan is a billionaire, millionaire, whatever you decide to say about him. And that doesn't mean that he's never failed in his life. So my brothers and sisters, you and I can make it in the name of Jesus. As we commit to him, We will make it in Jesus' name. Simon, we're so eternally grateful for this awesome time. And we hope we will be around. We would ask you to come again and again and again. What you gave to the, I'm sure you'll be willing to give to us. Thank you so much. God bless you. Church, let's put our hands together for Simon.